All right, it is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025, and today I'm joined by the one and only Coach Matt Mullan.
The guys, when I was coaching, called me Dan. I have no idea why.
What?
Yeah.
No idea.
Maybe they have an explanation.
It's been before my time, yeah.
I guess I looked like a Dan.
And then you have Lumbrizer, who does not look like a Dan.
Right, now you have
in my
a Dan.
opinion. We
Now
actually
you
do
have
have
an
a
actual Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
So anyway, yeah, why don't you introduce yourself and how you got into coaching at Perrysburg?
So, well, that's a long story. Short story was I was overweight and I needed to run. So I went down the hill from my house and tried to run with the Perrysburg girls team because Mannheim was my high school coach.
Right.
And I couldn't get through like an 8:30, 8:45 pace for even a single mile. Anyway, I just kept showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was some coaching turnover. So I filled in.
Spot opened up.
Yeah. I wasn't looking to coach, but it was the right idea for consistent training.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to run in a pack like these guys have.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to say it was 2015 you started coaching here?
Yeah, something like that. I don't quite remember, but that sounds about right. And I think I started late July.
Okay.
Like started officially coaching the week of the Machindo trip.
Mm.
Like actually, the Machindo trip itself was where I was introducing myself
Oh, really?
to kids. Yeah.
Did you have a sense of how you were received initially in the team? Was it pretty a smooth transition?
You know, I think that first year for both Coach Medeiros and me,
Mm-hmm.
it was trying to figure out who was reliable on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hard to tell. The seniors weren't the top guys on the team. The top guys were freshmen the previous year,
Huh. Hello.
and they weren't necessarily wanting to take complete ownership over the team.
Gotcha.
I gotta slow.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah. That Machindo trip, I was on the edge of terrible shape, but there was a lot of gaga ball,
Oh, yeah.
and I just was one of the guys. That's always mostly what I tried
Yeah.
to do, just to go do the run and give guys a fist bump at the end.
Mm-hmm. I think you and Medeiros had a really good dynamic going where he was sort of like the overseer and then you were the boots on the ground, run with the guys type of coach.
I was in a position with my wife at home with the kids where I could show up every day,
Yeah.
even though my kids were really little. And so I was lucky to have the ability to be there every day. And then towards the end, it was like I was coaching the CYO team after Perrysburg practice.
Oh. A lot.
Yeah. And I was stretched thin on time.
Yeah, no kidding. I still remember that email you sent us. Like we were all just in disbelief.
Yeah, I had no sense of what for you guys you'd have, like who your coach would be. I just knew that I couldn't be it.
Yeah.
And I was used to running with the group, and it's like when you run with a pack of guys who they talk a little bit, but for the most part the conversation is just about dealing with the run.
Yeah.
And when I lost that, I went through a good amount of withdrawal.
For sure.
That was tough. I couldn't run on my own.
Yeah.
And I tried.
It's not the same, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Nowhere close.
Well, I can tell you, we went through the same thing that winter.
Yeah,
Especially like my class, I mean, we just sort of assumed that we'd have you all 4 years, and we continue to develop that relationship.
Yeah, that was the years before that was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
There was some inconsistent stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I get home after one of these runs right now, my watch tells me that I ran the entire thing in tempo range.
Yeah.
And the watch also says don't run for 72 hours. But there's something about just being in the pack
100%.
that keeps you going.
Yeah.
Running separate from the group, that's pretty frustrating.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the thing. It's just that like 2 or 3 week hump that you got to get over, and then once you can be consistent after that,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 2 or 3 weeks. Second year coaching, the Muddy Mini was running its first one.
Yeah.
And toward the end of outdoor track, you don't have, I didn't have the interest in running as fast as they were on the track workouts. So I hadn't run much, but I did a couple weeks of river runners, and then tried to see what I had in the Muddy Mini, and it was like this weather.
Yeah.
That race starts pretty warm,
Pretty muggy. Yeah.
and I was able to run 90 minutes, like 6:52 pace.
Woo.
And
It's rolling.
Consistent getting out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, do you want to run me through a few of your fondest coaching memories at Perrysburg?
That last group of track guys, they really cared about each other, and they were also just excited to see what could happen. And they, despite losing their junior year season to COVID, junior track to COVID, they qualified in the 4x4.
Yeah.
And Van Keller qualified in the Open 800, and Mark in 32. The thing about that group that was my, I think, favorite memory is, and I don't know if it was exactly all of them, but maybe the year before, we indoor track went to what's the
Is it
university? Oberlin.
Yeah.
Went to Oberlin, and we had to qualify with a time for the indoor state meet.
Right.
But we hadn't raced a whole lot of 4x8s. Anyway, we showed up at a time I thought was plenty of time for the race. And when we got there, the girls' 4x8 was on the track.
Oh gosh.
So I said to the guys, all right, strip down, go do a 3-minute up-tempo warm-up.
Yeah.
And then guys were spiking up during the race.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, we ran like a 8:15 or something. Enough to qualify.
Wow.
But yeah, just that added drama.
Yeah. I remember seeing that on your PR sheet. It's like among the many memories.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah, that was a lot of. I loved putting together that sheet. When we took over, the team had no sense of its history.
Yeah.
And there were some darn good runners, like Rick Schnicker.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't even on the record board in high school.
Wow. Yeah, it's so important to preserve that team history. And that had to have taken you so long. I mean,
Yeah,
I still have my copy.
it was a lot of digging in blade archives,
Yeah.
phone calls to
Right.
different people, some of the old guys. But I was drinking the Kool-Aid as much as anybody.
Yeah.
All right, let's try. Okay, I'm gonna take a break.
All right, you're good.
Here, let's talk while I recover.
Sure.
Yeah, so Mannheim, I was running with Mannheim yesterday, and he said, "Mullan, are you in good shape?" And I didn't want to tell him because he's got other issues going on. He's beaten up from
Oh yeah.
years of pacing out his team. Anyway, so I didn't say, no, I'm in terrible shape, and
Yeah.
I was doing better than he was. So it's just I was just like, well, I'm in sort of okay shape, but the truth is, this is about as bad a shape as I've been in a long time. That Strava score where it says your relative fitness, it says mine's at 26, which, like, in October I was like a 50 something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in pretty bad shape right now.
I gotta say, relative to the general population, you're.
No,
in
I
great
mean,
shape, you know.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. The general population doesn't have the cushy job I have, getting done at 2:35 every day.
Yeah.
Having a community like Mannheim that, if I want to, I can just show up. Mannheim and Medeiros,
Right.
I can just show up and run. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody has those kind of resources,
No,
and a
that's
really
important.
great place to run.
Right.
So I could say what you're saying, which is that I'm in better shape than 99% of the human population,
Which is true.
which is true. But then the other truth is that for myself and my own story, I've got room to grow, and I can get back in shape if I just take care of myself.
Right. 100%.
And I have a responsibility to do that. Because not everybody at 45 can go out and pound all of a sudden
Yeah.
and be relatively injury free.
Exactly.
So I've got things going for me that I need to just keep taking advantage of. My dad has muscular dystrophy, and he does not. Yeah, it first attacked his heart muscle, and he doesn't quite have. I mean, he didn't run. I don't know when he ever ran, but by the time he was 45, he was not exercising because of the heart disease and the undiscovered underlying thing, which was muscular dystrophy. And then my brother Kevin, he's got his own health concerns. So I need to just keep pushing when I have the ability to.
Yeah. It's all about that perspective, right?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to take us back to the onset of your running career back in the St. John's days?
Well, it was before that. I ran CYO in kindergarten.
Oh, wow. How'd you get into that?
St. Joe, Sylvania. Jeff Seaman, who's still around, he was kind of the overseer of that whole program. And I just did that for a while. And my older brother, by the time we got older, my older brother Scott was like winning races. And I thought that was like the coolest thing imaginable.
Yeah.
Winning a race.
Yeah, when you're that age.
So
Nothing like it.
my 6th grade year, the Goblin Gallop at Flower Hospital, still a race.
Okay. Love it.
I asked my older brother, who I thought was the coolest guy, I asked him to train me. And here at 45, I can say that what I was doing when I was in the 6th grade actually still matters.
Yeah.
And I know it's stupid, but yeah, I trained with my older brother through Woodstream Farms in Sylvania. And he would ride his bike and I'd run. This is before cell phones and Bluetooth speakers. So it was just the two of you.
Right.
No music. And it was cold that morning, so I ran in a St. John's sweatshirt. My dad had gone to St. John's. And I finished so far ahead of the 2nd place kid.
Wow.
And I've gotten rid of every medal from races in high school and junior high. Not that I won that many, but 2nd place and all the CYO ribbons you get.
Sure, yeah.
And I still have that Goblin Gallop 1st place trophy.
Oh, man. So cool. So that was 6th grade?
6th grade. And from there, as we're running here behind this guy, and like he's winning marathons and half marathons.
Oh, yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
she takes that one up. The other
that race mattered.
it was
It was the only thing in front of me. And I guess in a cheesy way, circling back, I'm still competitive. I'm not competitive enough to go get my own private physical therapy session, all sorts of like a wise nutritional plan. But showing up here gives me a chance to let her rip.
Yeah.
And I guess putting yourself in a position to let her rip is nice. It's important.
It is. I know what you mean. You just get that competitive itch all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You need to express it somehow.
Yep. Yeah, so you got that 5K where you get to
Yeah.
size up the competition.
Mm-hmm. You know, my dad just did the same thing. We did a Father's Day 5K together.
Did I see he was under 7 minutes?
Yeah.
7 minutes, yeah.
About 6:45, I want to say.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
So impressive.
cruising, yeah.
It was just a spur of the moment thing. Like, his training had been going pretty well. And
Daisy Mullan.
guys,
His training had been going well.
yeah. It was a hot day. It was on trails, but he dropped a 30-second PR. Like, he told me to run 6:45s, and he hung on for dear life. It was so impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because he has a unique ability to push himself through a lot of pain.
Yeah, suffer.
To suffer, yeah.
I watched a video on the Lost Boys of Sudan, and
Yeah.
the coach here in the U.S. of one of the former refugees. Well, one of the refugees said that Macharia Hewitt, he just had this uncanny ability to suffer, to know how to deal with it.
That'll get you really far in sport.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We were doing yard work yesterday at the house.
Yeah.
Lots of raising up flagstones, re-leveling stuff. And it's tedious work.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta just lock in and deal with it. All right, you keep going.
I gotta tie my shoe, actually.
Ooh. I am toasted.
You're all good.
And then when I finish this run, I'll say, you know what?
Yeah.
I ran a decent time. This is my best run of the summer so far.
Aerobic effort.
And I was talking.
Yeah.
But there's 2 stops now.
Felt good.
That's also part of it. Have you run this?
The river? Or what?
The island.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not great terrain, but there's a path on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not great.
Huh.
You'll break your ankle.
Oh.
Don't do it. I'm just gonna pretend I never said anything.
Okay. Yeah.
When we started, the coach that we took over for had advanced the Perrysburg program from where it was before. Where it was for a long time in the late 90s, early 2000s was running 3 miles maximum a day. And then the guy that took over, Jeff Taylor, friends with Mannheim, he had, I think, a state championship team out in Delta. And he took over at Perrysburg and moved them forward. They didn't win the league, but they came in second a lot. They didn't qualify for the state meet, but they were getting to the regional meet. And Perrysburg always had huge teams, but they didn't have any kind of success to go with it. But
You gotta keep up with Kenny and the boys.
Trying, man. It's hard. It's hard work.
in defense of Coach Taylor, he just he didn't have the ability to be there consistently, and in indoor, he didn't have what I had going on at home, which was my wife just willing to, I don't know about willing, she just dealt with it, I guess.
Yeah.
That I was leaving all the time. And
for the team.
yeah, she's every bit as responsible for my being there every day. Anyway, he didn't have the ability to do it, but so when we took over, we came in 6th, I think, in the league, maybe out of 8 teams the first year, and then in indoor, I took over, and Carter Seitz, who's just a brilliant, positive kid who everybody should
Great guy.
Everybody should have a Carter Seitz in their life. They'd all be greater for it. And Kiefer Doors, and Adam Billmeyers, and all the wide variety of guys who had Adam Oles. Man, what a vibe Adam Oles is. Just his sense of chill. They're such neat kids. Anyway, that indoor season, they were talking about how they wanted to go to the state meet in cross country, and I mostly just ran with the team, but it was a bad winter. There's a lot of snow on these trails here, on these paths here at the park, and I can run again. Sorry. There's a lot of snow, but I just said, hey, if you guys are gonna be like that, we can't run 7:45 pace. We've got to be running 7:15 pace. So that was it. That was just the simple. There were workouts. We did, and on Wednesdays we went to BG for indoor workouts.
Yeah.
But otherwise it was just, let's train consistently. And man, by outdoor they were, a couple of them were under 440.
Nice.
In the mile, which for them that was good. And a couple guys scored the 2 mile at the league meet. Just started having some depth.
Yeah.
And then by cross country season, they tied Napoleon.
Oh yeah.
At the league championship. And Will Griffune, I believe it was Will, he was the 6th man. Tiebreaker.
Broke the tie.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we won the league, and then at the regional race, we tied Perrysburg. And we won on the tiebreaker.
You tied who?
Sorry, we tied St. Francis.
Oh yeah.
And we won on the tiebreaker to qualify for the state meet. So, first state trip since 1973 or something like that.
Whew. Wow. That's something out of a movie.
Yeah. And then the next year qualified. Next year, and then it became pretty
routine, right?
Routine, yeah. And it's hard to keep it going.
Yeah.
It was also hard, given how much time it was taking, to really talk to guys and find those JV guys who would push up and become varsity reliable guys.
Right. It helps to have a big team, though.
Yeah.
Big pool of guys to draw from.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, you're right.
Yeah, there's so many guys that you can have 8 guys up on varsity, and you can ignore them and go work on a JV kid who will become one of your varsity guys and cause the varsity to get faster.
Exactly. Well, that's the beauty of distance running, is you can have a kid develop really rapidly if he decides he wants to.
Yeah, I see. I don't know what his trajectory is going to be, but and he's older. But Tansy,
Oh, Max Tansy?
yeah, I really like
Yeah?
the way he runs. He's like a classic sixth, seventh man.
Yeah. He's always been under the radar,
Yeah.
but you know, an incredible athlete. He ran, I want to say 17:10 last
Oh,
cross
good
country
boy.
season. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For many schools, that's not under the radar.
Well, I should say he was under the radar
Right.
until then. But
I
he
give him
actually he does sprints and track.
What?
So every year, or I suppose the past 2 years, he would have a slower start to cross country, and then he would really turn up near the end.
Oh boy.
Almost there.
Yeah.
This is going to be a Garmin effort for the ages.
Yeah. It's gonna say 5 days rest.
Yeah. All right. Well, real quick, I'd love to hear one or two St. John's cross country stories, just off the top of your head.
Okay. Well,
You can slow down if you want to.
yeah, I don't know what exactly. We did our summer running camp at Hillsdale. In
Oh, yeah?
Hillsdale.
Yeah, Michigan, same place.
Near Michigan, yeah.
Yeah.
And ran on a lot of dirt trails, dirt roads. And I just remember rolling hills, just rolling country roads, and Mannheim and Hostler were there running behind us, pushing us along and being silly.
Yeah.
They were in their 20s, and it was full sun. They were right there keeping the whole group together, all suffering together. And despite any other than any specific memory of a race, like I remember some races, but I think the thing that I really value was that I had such great adults to learn from.
Yeah. In Hostler and Mannheim.
Yeah, in Hostler and Mullan. Just two incredibly kind people. And energetic.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody.
Good job. Good job.
Did you say that about Tansy?
Yeah.
So that's the memory I'm going to leave with.
Perfect. Yeah, there's nothing like that summer training essence you get when you're out with your guys, putting in hard work together.
Yeah, it's like
feel
It's so freaking hard
Yeah.
to work.
You all grow so close as a result of that.
Yeah.
Now, did you cross paths with my dad a whole lot on the team?
No. I mean, he was a year ahead of me. 2 years ahead of me, maybe.
Because
I'm much more aware of the team now, of who's on the team,
yeah,
than I was back then.
that's only natural. Yeah, I think my freshman year, I didn't have a clue who some of the upperclassmen were until late in the season.
Right. Okay, I'm toast.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me and suffering through that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Go get him. Go get him.
All right. See you, Coach.
Good luck with that race.
Thank you.